Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. Welcome to Afternoon Express on this Tuesday. I mean, I'm with my favorites, our regulars. Same old, same old. You know how family is, Chef Dumi?
I was hoping you'd say my name first, because I definitely have to stay your favorite through and through. But yes, welcome back, Chef Chart.
Oh, lovely to be in the kitchen. Lovely to see you ladies all in blue. In fact, we're all in blue today, you know. It's obviously, you know, that time of year.
We are. We're celebrating spring. We're celebrating the summer season. We're well into November, so let's get this baby on its way. Now, it's all about flavorful food cooked in 15 minutes on this Tuesday Afternoon Express Masterclass with me, Balisa Tembe. Our lively regular Chef Chart returns to our kitchen to make a loaded garlic salad platter, a Mediterranean couscous salad, a tomato and basil pesto pasta, and 2 quick and easy to make desserts. If you want any of these recipes, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, summer is salad season, and if you want to have lunch or dinner on the table in a jiffy, then you're in the right place. We're serving you a colorful garden salad platter with egg, salami, chicken, loads of veggies, and bright red strawberries. Yes, this is my kind of meal, ladies and gentlemen. But Dumi, to go with this incredible salad, you have to pair it with an equally delicious side. Are you going to go with a sauce? Are you going to go with a dressing? What are you feeling?
We are going with we're going to call it a dipping sauce, because you can dip it depending on how thick you want it, depending on how smooth you want it, depending on how runny you want it. It is completely up to you. So the thicker you want it, it can be a dip. The more runny you want it, it can be a dressing. So you can actually just drizzle it over there. And to start it off, we've got our Clover classic mayo that we're going to be using. And as you know, the girl likes to keep it medium. Yeah. So we're going with the medium flavor here, because we've got the medium tanginess, because we've got the different flavors coming from our pineapples. We've got the strawberries. We've got the fresh lettuce, you know. All of that is so natural in its own flavor that you want it to be able to be, you know, elevated and paired perfectly. So that's why we're adding our Clover classic mayo to there. And like I said, I'm keeping it to number 2, medium. Not too much, not too little, just enough.
Voila, that sounds like genius already. Chef Chart on your station. You've got all the fun.
Well, yeah, I think lots of fun. I mean, the colours, and it's just vibrant, it's just fresh. And, you know, what I think, you know, one's going to look at is just what's in your fridge and start drawing things. You don't have to specifically have this, but start building up things. Look at colour. Look at the flavour combinations that you've got. So, you know, lettuce, always great to have a lettuce that you can sort of layer things in here. And, I mean, that's like a cup, a vessel in itself, you know.
Taco container.
Exactly, that sort of thing there. So that kind of lettuce really works well. You know, cucumber, if you haven't got cucumber, what do you got? Gherkins maybe in the fridge, maybe a bit of pepper juice, you know, so really start, you know, sort of tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. So you can really chop and change and almost sort of adapt it throughout the year as well. But, you know, one just needs to sort of build it up and sort of build as we go. So take a couple of lovely lettuce leaves. And one thing I always love doing is sort of putting colour on colour that's very similar. I think it's just always rather striking. So you take the vibrant sort of green cos, and then you've got the butter lettuce, bring another whole different sort of textural dimension in here, and keep your leaves big, because you can really sort of, you know, create a vessel, wrap it up and make it a, you know, like a lettuce wrap.
Yeah.
And then from there, take in some lovely cucumber, and again, playing on that green on green on green, I think just looks absolutely fantastic.
Very inviting.
As you go along there. And then, you know, a bit of tomatoes. So we just quartered some lovely rows of tomatoes. I mean, it's summer. It's got lots of vibrant colours on here as well. Pita breads. Oh, yes. What do you want?
I've got a tricky relationship with pita bread.
Why?
You know, growing up, I think pita breads just came into fashion, so a whole lot of households were opting for it instead of the regular sandwich. Now, my household was one of those households, but for some reason, I really struggled with the texture of pita bread. Either it was too doughy, too hard, so I'm finding it difficult. What's the right way to enjoy pita bread?
So pita breads, you just want to warm them up here. So, you know, as time goes on, like now, they're a little bit more on the crispy side, but you got to warm them up onto a pan, hot pan, allow them to puff up in the oven, or if you really want, I mean, they fit perfectly in a toaster. So pop them into your toaster, warm those up there, and literally you can just take those shards and then pop them onto here as well. So it's a lovely little sort of size there. If you want to tear them apart, by all means, you can certainly do so. Eggs, I think, is a great one to do. And, you know, cut them in half if you want. If you don't want to, you know, I actually don't always cut them in half often because, you know, they might be left over and actually they keep better in the fridge. So nice little tip. So maybe only cut one, but then you get that beautiful contrast of the colour in there. And then let's go into our strawberries. As I said, you know, let's put the strawberries, the red on next to the red.
Now, very interesting that you're also adding fruit to this vegetable platter, I suppose, and also with your own kind of mix of proteins. But now when it comes to the fruit selection, I've seen a lot of salads that have apples, a lot of salads that have pineapples, mangoes. How do you know what fruit to use for what type of salad or what type of side?
Well, I think, you pick up your combination of what are you all putting together. So, you know, so to me, it's talking about, you know, you got a tangy dressing. So you got a light tang. So you got some sharpness coming through from that there. But then you just start working with your lettuce. Your lettuce is quite neutral. Your cucumber, again, quite watery there. But here, your tomatoes. Tomatoes have got a wonderful sweetness. Now, sometimes sweet and sweet works exceptionally well together, enhances another flavour. But then you need a little bit of, you know, acidity to come through, so a little bit of lemon to come through, or, you know, even something like pineapple as well. You could just sort of take that. I'm just going to sort of pop that onto there. So, again, you've got to build up that profile of what works for you ultimately at the end of the day. So think of sweet, sour, bitter, salty, that umami combination. So think of all the different combinations as you go.
Vanessa, for me, it feels more like nature's cheese board. If you were to explain it like that, that's what it is, where you're getting a whole different kind of flavor that you're putting together. You've, like Chef has said, you've got the pepperiness that will come from your lettuces. You've got your salami that's got that sharp saltiness. You've got the sweetness from the fruit. So all of that in your mouth just gives you a punch of flavor.
Absolutely, you know, and freshness. That is what I love about this right now. I just had a taste of the salad. Now, I was a little apprehensive, not knowing how the fruit combination with the pita bread, with the lettuce, how it all comes together. But trust me, it comes together incredibly. It's also load shedding friendly. So to get your hands on it, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za and you can enjoy this recipe at home.
There is a classic mayonnaise that brings out the traditional French in 3 levels of tanginess. The mild classic, the medium classic, the strong classic. Tangy the way you love it.
Made with love by Clover.
That is what this show is all about. It is all about meals in 15 minutes. Now, Dumi, you've also got a very exciting one coming up.
We do. It's all about flavor as well. The one thing we keep the standard here is flavor, but we're doing that in 15 minutes.
Well, I'm here for it, but before we get on to that exciting recipe on social media, we would like you to please fill in the blank. It's not summer until I've eaten blank. Use the hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. I kind of like that one. Now, one light and easy summer staple is couscous. So coming up, we're putting together a scrumptious Mediterranean couscous salad. back to Afternoon Express, and yes, the show might be an hour long, but we're keeping our meal time in the kitchen 15 minutes or less.
We are, and especially for some of us women who are constantly there dealing with those rascals that are asking and they don't stop and they just want and want and want, and you've got deadlines. And, don't worry about that. 15 minutes is all you need for this recipe.
I'm so here for it already. Summer holidays are always a fun, carefree time for families. Obviously, excited to be spending precious quality time together. But for moms, the worry of keeping those appetites satisfied always lingers. Well, fret no more. Today, we're going to show you marvelous moms how to make a family meal that is not only super tasty, but quick and easy too. I'm talking about a Mediterranean simply chicken and couscous salad. Lead us to the promised land, Dumi.
I shall lead you, and I see Chad looking at you wondering, why are you just saying moms? I think everyone at this point is on some.
I was going to say, you know, yes, there's mums and they all incredibly work hard, and yes, the little rascals are very demanding, but you know, the rest of us that all work, you know, we want our glass of wine as quickly as possible, you know, so...
Talk to me!
Absolutely, you know, but it is, you want sometimes, you get to those moments, and there's days where, like, even I as a chef, as a foodie, you want to cook, and you want to indulge, and you want to go the extra mile. But there are days, and there are probably more days than cooking days, actually, that you just want something quick and easy. And I think all our recipes, you know, are so great because you can just use what's in your fridge, you know, so adapt things. As I was, you know, saying early on, you know, if you haven't got tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. If you haven't got tomatoes, leave them up, but then start thinking, well, what else is that could be sweet that could sort of compensate for that, you know? And, you know, so you go on and you build that and just get creative, you know, at that. But, I mean, I'm literally just going to start mixing all my ingredients together with couscous, peppers, red onions, olives, tomatoes, cucumber, chickpeas, feta. I'm just going to mix it all together whilst Tumi the other bits and pieces.
All I need to do is I need 12 to 14 minutes because as per the packaging, this just needs 12 to 14 minutes to cook in the oven at 200 degrees, Balisa. And then we're going to ignore it. While I ignore it, Chef is going to get started with the rest of the recipe. It's very simple, very easy. We've got different flavors. I mean, the best part about it, Balisa, is that it is quick and easy to prepare. There's no pork. There's no added MSG. It is just real chicken. And it's the best part about it is you've got all those nutrients from the chicken itself.
I'm very excited to I don't want to say I want to taste the Simply Chicken because I feel like I grew up on Simply Chicken. I mean, at the end of the day, the end of the year for us as a family was always just about that. It was always about that family time. The cousins came over and we always had our household full, which meant groceries at the end of the day needed to be budget friendly, make it make sense for the entire family. But my mom wasn't like you, Dumi. She wasn't like those mothers who kind of was slaving away in the kitchen. My mother left us to our own devices. She was like, here's some Simply Chicken. It is quick, it is easy. You're not going to burn yourself. Put it in the oven. Boom, boom, boom. Easy to go. And this is exactly one of those recipes. For yourself, Chef Chart, what does this kind of recipe reminiscent of?
Well, I think, you know, this is, to me, is summer. You know, there's so much of wonderful fresh produce that becomes abundant and things that we don't get. I mean, I've just been harvesting your broad beans from the garden. And it's so wonderful just having, you don't see too often. You know, it's exceptionally seasonal, so you can add that in. That starts to sort of sing through. The herbs, you know, all these lovely, delicate, soft herbs now. The basils, the corianders, the mint, they are in abundance. I mean, I literally just take your herbs and don't even worry about just cutting them. You know, we've got to be quick, we've got to get easy. Just throw them in there. Some lovely bits of parsley. Just tear everything, you know.
And what makes this specifically Mediterranean?
Well, I think your typical Mediterranean flavours, you know, the feta, cucumber, tomatoes, you know, starts, you know, straight coming to mind there. You know, we're going to have a lovely dressing that we're going to start adding into here as well. And those components that will make it Mediterranean, or, you know, what makes it French typically, you know, sort of butter and cream and things like that. But the Mediterranean are those wonderful sort of Greek-style kind of ingredients that we have a typical association with.
Yeah, and the smell as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It's already coming out. Love
indeed.
that.
So we literally just got to sort of tear everything up. I mean, Basil just, that just sort of screams summer on in a bowl and all of that. And literally just want to start, you know, just mixing all of that together and look at the vibrancy of this as you go. It really is spectacular to look at.
And Dumi, this is a masterclass at the end of the day, and I stay learning in the Afternoon Express loft. At the end of the day, you're talking something very interesting about couscous.
Yes. Most people think that couscous is a grain, and in fact, it is actually, it's considered a pasta. It's considered a pasta because of the durum wheat and what actually is used to make it. but it's not really a grain chef. And I know a lot of people used to think that. But before we go into that, I just want to touch on the fact that my chicken is now cooked, and how you know it's cooked, obviously after 14 minutes, is that it's got a beautiful crust, crunchy on the outside, beautiful and soft and tender on the inside. And because everything there is about a bite size, I also want to cut the chicken to that same size to make sure that you can get a spoonful of everything with one spoon.
So, and you know, something like this, I mean, you know, talking about quick meals and, you know, getting ahead in advance, I make a really big batch of couscous and then, you know, split it in half. Make one Mediterranean and one later on. You know, you could sort of do an Italian version or, you know, something completely different. So make it in advance, because couscous is so quick to do. You literally throw boiling water over to equal parts of couscous and water, cover it for 5 minutes, then take the cover off, rake it with a fork on top so you can separate the individual grains of couscous, cover it for another 5 minutes, and it's done.
And it is cooked to perfection. I mean, I just had a taste of the couscous. It's succulent, it's tender, but it's also not sticky, like clumping together in jingle poo. So that's not what we want.
But that's very important, to rake the couscous on top with a fork. So take it top, and you literally just sort of rake it layer by layer by layer, so you make sure you free everything up. You don't get stuck in there with a big spoon and start, you know, mixing.
Love that.
And then literally just take your lovely bits of chicken, you know, and place that on the top. If you, why not? Just sort of put it all on the top there. I mean, how simple, quick, and easy is that?
I'm definitely looking forward to enjoying more of that. The chicken is cooked to perfection, absolutely succulent, and the flavors truly do give me those Mediterranean vibes. Now, we all experience multitasking on a daily basis, but let's keep meal and snack time simple with Simply Chicken. To get your hands on this delicious recipe, please do visit afternoonexpress.co.za. These are definitely my type of recipes. Summer season is well on its way, and that's also what we're going to be mirroring in the next recipe, Dumi.
Yeah, we're still keeping into the summer flavor, keeping into the summer vibes, but also still keeping it all under 15 minutes.
And this is one of Chef's favorites, huh?
Well, it is. It actually is one of my favorites, my go-to in summer. I published in my cookbook, so absolutely.
I'm so here for it. Now we'll be enjoying some of the flavors and colors of Italy as we're making tomato, basil, pesto pasta when we come back. We're whisking things up in the kitchen and testing mine and Dumi's egg game with a classic omelette challenge. Now, here's how it works, baby girl. We are gonna have an omelette challenge, and these are the rules. Each of us are equipped with the same set of ingredients and utensils, and we've got 3 minutes to create our best attempt at an omelette in the allocated time. Now, the omelette has to be created from scratch. Nothing can be pre-prepared or mixed. And then we have the opportunity, or rather we throw it to you, Mzansi. You have the opportunity to vote for the best omelette on our social media pages. Does that sound simple enough, Dumi?
That sounds quite simple.
I'm nervous, honey.
Actually.
What makes me nervous about this is that you went to school for this, and I just learned from my mother. However, no excuses. We've already heated up our pans.
And most times people think experience, qualifications matter. Other times experience is all that matters. So it's a fair game.
Okay, well, let's see. Let's get counted down just so that we know exactly when to start. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right.
Dumi, strategies just off the bat.
I'm going to try a strategy that I've used in my house that I hope works today, where you start with the cheese, because what then that does is that it forms a nice crust on the outside, ensuring that when you add the rest of your ingredients, I hope this works.
Hopefully it sticks together.
Yeah, then what will happen is that it'll form a nice little crust on the outside. I don't know what I'm saying, but as long as my hands are moving right, that's
No, I hear you.
Sure
That does work. I love that. Great strategy, great strategy. I mean, for myself, it's a bit of a difficult one because I normally only use 2 eggs and I use milk as a substitute because, honey, growing up in my household, my mother would never allow us to waste 4 eggs on one omelette.
Actually.
Forget about it. So today, I'm actually feeling a little spoiled, the fact that I get to use 4 omelettes in this, but normally, ordinarily, I would use milk. So I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if this hurts me or helps me.
Good luck, girl. All I know is that I want to win. I haven't won anything on our show in so long.
And we've got 2 minutes on the clock.
We've got 2 minutes. Okay. Any specific flavor you're focusing on?
No, I'm just going to go simple, 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 girl. You know, sometimes simple is the best, especially under a time pressure like this. And when the stakes are so high of being the afternoon express omelette queen, I really do want to get it right.
Okay.
So normally I would pre-cook my onions or any vegetable, I suppose, that I am using in this. Normally I would pre-cook it and then not wash my... Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It's not happening. Okay, Bali. I think we should start again, guys.
No.
It's not an omelette anymore. It's a scramble.
So
But
yeah,
that counts
so
for
I'm not
something,
sure
right?
having that raw inside. I don't know if it's gonna hurt as well or help, but hopefully it's gonna help me because oh no, we've got 1 minute on the clock. So I
Okay,
think
now
it's
it's about
time
making
to
it look pretty.
officially bring in that timer. That 1 minute marker is up. South Africa, we're throwing it to you. We want to find out, given the ingredients, given
It's a
the
half
technique,
moon.
who would you go for? Which omelets would you like to try? Hopefully the flavors are all there. Oh, we forgot salt and pepper.
So the one thing I love about being chef is that you can be creative and create new dishes, right? So we're going to call this
so
the half
nice.
moon because now not only is the omelette the dish, but you also have a topping of egg. So you've got egg on egg on egg. Isn't that just a beautiful
How many
thing?
seconds? How many seconds? 20 seconds. You, Sana. Do you have it?
So what you can see now is you've got your omelette that has a filling, and then you've got a topping.
Do me
and
our 10-second countdown has started. Keep going.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Ah, look at me! I'm so competitive, South Africa. If you know me, you know. 3, 2, 1.
1. I mean,
Speechless. I've got nothing to say.
I mean, this right there is a masterpiece because you've got fresh, you've got cooked, you've got an omelette with the topping.
It's a disaster, my love. It's a no from me. However, my opinion does not matter. My opinion is irrelevant. I've already dished up my omelette. I kept it simple. I kept it cheese, tomato, and mushroom omelette.
Okay.
And for yourself?
Well, I'm going for the people that like to go big. You want to have a dish that has something like a side and something like a topping. So I went with a half moon omelette that has a topping of all the ingredients. You've got peppers, you've got tomatoes, you've got mushrooms. And then I served it with a side of egg and tomatoes and mushrooms. And then some fresh mushroom and some fresh
and
red
some more
pepper.
fresh red pepper. I mean, look, I'm not sure if the instruction and the brief was a deconstructed omelette or which is the best omelette. So, I don't know. Let me stop talking and hand it to you, South Africa. Don't forget to head over to our social media pages and vote. Who has the best omelette and which one would you like to try?
Express yourself.
Protect what matters and get a quote for a life insurance plan that suits your needs and stand a chance to win one of 8 Samsung Galaxy S21 phones plus 100 gigs of Standard Bank mobile data for a year. To enter, SMS the keyword LIFE to 31492 to get a callback and a quote. It can be. You could be a winner.
what is tasty, easy to make, and takes only 15 minutes of your time? Our scrumptious tomato and basil pesto pasta that promises to have you in and out of your kitchen with superhero speed. Now, like the superhero you are, so lead us, tell us, how do we whip up one of your specialities?
Well, I think, you know, a pesto, and I have jars of this in the fridge in different forms and things like that.
Yeah.
So literally, you know, take your wonderful basil. Now, actually, on the weekend, I had carrot tops, and I made a carrot top pesto. You know, why waste those lovely little tops? You know, you get these bunches of carrots now.
Those are edible?
Absolutely. And do exactly what I'm doing now, is you take this and you plunge it into boiling water.
Whoa. All right. Okay, you said pesto, right?
Yep.
At which point and why are we blanching? Because this, I've never done this before in all my life.
So, blanching, what this does now is I'm going to set the chlorophyll. So this is what makes vegetables green, is chlorophyll. Now, this will stay green for up to 2 weeks. So you'll have a longevity, because what happens with basil, it actually discolors very quickly, and you get sort of that sort of, you know, browny sort of color. It oxidizes. So by blanching it, it's setting the chlorophyll. So any sort of vegetable that you green, courgette, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, apply this technique, and literally you'll keep it vibrant and green. So all the restaurants, you know, you go to and they go, oh my goodness, look how green everything is. It looks so vibrant and so happy and all the rest of it. Well, because it's been blanched. They've set the chlorophyll.
The process of blanching it.
The process of blanching. So literally, that is simple there. Something like so delicate like basil, 30 seconds, it's all that it needs.
Okay.
Apply it to parsley leaves. You can make a parsley pesto. As I said, carrot tops, also same process. You can make a spinach pesto. Blanch your spinach leaves into ice cold water, and look how vibrant and green that is.
The colours are truly popping here, and the flavours, I can only imagine, will just echo the same sentiment. Now, for myself, when I do think of a pesto, I only think of a basil pesto or like a dried tomato pesto. So when we think of the word pesto, you've already added so many alternatives just in what you just described for me. So what makes a pesto then?
Well, a pesto is basically a sauce. It's a dressing to go with a salad, you know, with this lovely pasta. You know, again, so if you don't want to make a herby version of it, you know, you're talking about, you know, sun-dried tomatoes. Make a sun-dried tomato pesto. So you're taking your main ingredient, your main component being the basil leaves, and substitute it with some lovely roasted tomatoes. Or you get some lovely pickled peppers, and you can make a pepper pesto. So there's just so many different versions of this. And I said, I have lots of little jars, and I make a batch of this because it can last and it stays vibrant and green. And then to a basic pesto, what you need to do is nuts. Now, again, not everybody has the luxury of affording, you know, things like pine nuts or cashews and things. Just some, you know, simple old peanuts works well. Pecans, walnuts, you know, can use as well. Pistachios, if you want to get a little bit sort of really quite fancy on that there. And then literally some garlic, some salt and pepper always as well. Pop that into there, and then some lovely Parmesan cheese. And again, if you don't want to add dairy, by all means, leave it out completely if you haven't got it, or if you haven't got Parmesan. Other alternative cheeses also work as well. A hard cheese, preferably, into that. And then in with some oil. Now, here's another little tip and trick. Do a blend of half extra virgin olive oil and half peanut oil or sunflower oil, a non-flavored oil. Sometimes when you just use olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, it's too grassy, it's too earthy. Yeah, you get that sort of, that flavor sometimes. So a blend of the two is what you need to do, and pop that into there. And then we're just going to...
And that's simply the foundation of a basic pesto.
Absolutely. I mean, so what comes to mind? What would you want to add into here? What would you sort of thinking?
This is a difficult one, Chef, because you've really added all my favorites. I love some garlic, and you've really added some whole garlic pieces in there. But I know sometimes people have nut allergies.
Sure.
And some people don't get down with the nuts in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
So, Dumi, on your end, you were teaching me other interesting ways of substituting those nuts. Chef has put in some peanuts, but on your station, what could we try?
Well, the thing is also, people might have allergies and stuff like that, and the reason why we're putting nuts into this specific sauce is because we want to give it structure. You see, I'm cooking it down now. I had some pesto that we made a little earlier, and you see it's still holding its shape. It's not like runny and like
dispersing.
A sauce. So instead, what helps to put it together is the nuts that you put in there. So if you don't like nuts, if you don't want to, you've got the option of seeds. Right now in front of me, I've got some sunflower seeds and I've got some pumpkin seeds. So you could still stick to the very same recipe, toast up your seeds, add them into this recipe, recipe and you've still got those flavors. Because if people don't know, when you toast up your seeds, it actually still gives them that nutty flavor.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even miss the nuts if you were to not put them into the recipe.
Brilliant. And Chef, you've gone with some pasta here as well to accompany this entire dish with. What would be the correct pasta to use for a dish like this?
Well, I mean, spaghetti tagliatelle is a great one, but again, you know, penne pasta, macaroni, all that can really work. Just adapt and adopt to what you've got. You don't have to specifically go for it, but I think something like this is just so simple and easy. Pasta, again, make a batch of it. You know, you might be doing Monday night spaghetti bolognese. Well, make enough pasta that's going to maybe, you know, you use on Thursday, Friday. You don't actually then have to re-cook or reheat it.
Yeah.
This served cold is spectacular as well. Look how gorgeous does that look? I mean, it looks alive, and let me tell you, by blanching it, it's going to stay like that for 2, probably 3 weeks. Just make sure a little bit of oil sits on the top of your jar, in the fridge, and homemade pesto.
Voila.
Done.
Now, did that go by a little too quickly? Well, then hurry over to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full recipe and ingredients list to this time-saving flavor bomb. Now, we've had Goose Sisters, and we've also had Cook Sisters. But coming up, we'll be showing you how to make a delicious Cape Spitzroker. Stick around.
Express yourself.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Express kitchen, where, trust me, we're keeping things quick, easy, but most of all, delicious. Now, Cape Spitzroka is very similar to a koeksister, but the choux pastry is softer and is a real treat with the decadent, spicy undertones of the syrup. It's between a koeksister and a donut. So today, we're going to whip it up into a decadent, delicious Clover Bliss medium cream chocolate dairy dessert. Teach me.
Imagine a family with a lot of different siblings and family members and extended this and extended that. This is in essence what we're doing. The Spitzroka is the cousin, right, to the koeksister and the koeksister. How they are related is that in the Spitzroka there's a syrup that is made, which I'm about to make, that has the aromatics that are actually found in a koeksister, which would be the star anise, would be the cinnamon, which would also be the ginger as well that go into there. Those are the koeksister part, right?
And that would normally go into the dough of a koeksister.
Of a koeksister,
but today we're using those same aromatics in the syrup of our Spitzroka.
Correct. And now how do we get to koeksister? Koeksister is dipped in the syrup, but it's fried. And that's where chef comes in, because you'll be making the choux pastry that ends up being fried.
And which is probably a cousin of an eclair or something, you know?
Yes, and maybe a churro.
Well, and so it goes on. So basically all the ingredients are very relative. It's obviously the ratios that they are put into. So I'm going to quickly just start putting some milk into my pan here and my butter. And what I want to do is get this to the butter to melt into the milk and bring this up to temperature. And then we're going to add in the flour. Bring that all together so it actually comes away from the sides. It's very important that you bring all of that together, incorporate everything in, take it off the heat, slightly allow it to cool, and then add in your egg. Because if you add in your egg in here, you're going to get too much sort of texture from the egg actually starting to set and coagulate. So again, you don't want sort of a sweetened version or a sort of a doughy version of scrambled eggs, do you? No. So all you do is bring all that together and allow that to melt together.
But we believe that this recipe is inspired.
It is definitely inspired by our one and only producer, Anele. Anele, she spoke about this, and I was like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And then she described the flavors. She described all the work that goes into it. And now that I see it and I've made it, I'm like, I understand, madam, why this is a tradition and something that you eat and enjoy. And going back to how this relates to the koeksister, I'm making the syrup, and our koeksisters are going to be, Spitzroka are going to be dunked. Now, if you think about it, the flavors you're going to get from the cinnamon and star anise paired with that Clover Bliss that you're about to submerge, or rather pour onto your Spitzroka, you'll be able to get the flavor of the cinnamon, because you've got the option of making the syrup, but obviously this isn't the 15-minute part. You can do the option of 15 minutes with the syrup, or overnight with the syrup, but to make it easier, we've got cinnamon sugar. So you've got the cinnamon sugar there, you've got the chocolate, the Clover Bliss chocolate, medium cream chocolate dessert. If you eat that together, you'll be able to taste those flavors from the ginger that was in the syrup, that was, the cinnamon, the sugar. It should come through together.
Those aromatics are definitely there. I love it. Delicious.
And
right.
Well, yeah, as I was about to say,
as you're about to say, yes.
Flopping it up.
He has me sort of twisting and turning there. So you've made that dough. You see how it just comes together so quickly. I had a whisk in there initially. You want to break down the flour particles. So you don't want to sort of, you're getting little globules of that. So you want to really break it down as quickly as possible and then pop it into your bowl. Now, because we're obviously having to work a bit quicker, you allow this to cool a little bit more. I've got enough confidence to put the egg straight into here. And then
it's already cooled
with your
down
spatula
enough.
there. So think of it as it's cooled down enough there, and then just get that into there, and then you sort of want to bring that together. And now you're going to get this wonderful sort of richness. But this is going to sort of help with the lightness of it. This is basically, the egg is acting as our raising agent, because we don't actually have baking powder or baking soda or any other sort into here. So that's just going to come in together.
The texture's already coming together.
Yeah, and I'm just going to sort of bring my whisk in there, really just sort of beat it up together.
Okay, so that is that choux pastry that we were talking about, making sure that it's light, but the flavors are definitely there, and I taste those flavors within the Spitzroka little taste bite that I had. Those aromatics that Dumi spoke about is definitely there, and I love the fact that this is a 15-minute dessert. However, if you are going to be creating that syrup, make sure you create it a night before so that it goes into the fridge and it's ready to enjoy and kind of roll your Spitzroka in afterwards. But go into dunking.
Absolutely. So into your hot oil, about 170 degrees. You know, if you've got a thermostatic fryer, great. But otherwise, a nice hot oil. Just take a little piece just to start with and just see. And just very carefully away from you. See, I've got the handle out the way there. Oh, it's going, it's cooking.
That's what we're looking for.
What you want to do is put it in a couple at a time. So do this in batches. Don't try and sort of make a whole lot and then chuck it all in, because the temperature's going to drop too much. And what happens, the dough then soaks up with the oil, and you end up with a soggy little dough ball, which is what you do not want on there. But just keep it on control here, especially if you're on the gas like I am, or if you're on an electric stove as well. Be very careful at that. You'll find it will pop down to the bottom. You can give it a little bit of a shake, or if you've got one of those sort of racks inside it,
Yes,
sit there,
keep
just
it around.
release it. It'll come to the surface and allow it just to sort of finish cooking. And we're going to take it out, drain it, and then pop it into the syrup.
Beautiful. I can't wait to have more feasts on these delicious desserts. Now, to get your hands on this recipe, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Dumi, you are chewing, you are enjoying. Chef, is it fair or nah?
Well, you know, they pop out just like that, and how gorgeous and golden do those look, and then just repeat the process, and off you go.
You've done an incredible job, but desserts is not done. We're still keeping the sweetness going. Now, one fun treat that is sweet to eat is caramel fudge. We're whipping up some of this when we come back.
Express yourself.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
As a pharmacist assistant at Aberdeen Pharmacy, I am honored to be serving and helping the community in terms of health and guidance and support. Whatever we can offer, we are there to support the community. COVID-19 has opened our eyes, certainly a lot. We have to wear masks every day of our lives and serve customers from a distance, show affection on different ways. Us at Aberdeen Pharmacy, Riaz and staff, we feel so honored to serve such a small community, and we love all our customers dearly as a family, and the loss that everybody's had during these times, we share the heartache with you. Bravery to me is to come to work every day, put your family's health at risk to help others in the community, as we do here at Aberdeen Pharmacy. COVID has also really changed the way of serving customers on a daily basis, in terms of we had to now make plans to do deliveries on our own costs with our own vehicles in our own neighborhoods to make life easier for people who couldn't come.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
welcome back to The Loft. And if you think that the sweetness is over, we still got a goodie waiting for you. Now, this brings back so many childhood memories, wouldn't you agree?
Well, I thought you were talking sweetness via me, but yeah, the childhood memories are also sweet.
Oh boy. Well, let's get into the cooking then. No matter how old we are, we all have fond memories of those school cake bake sales. And the one sweet treat that stands out above the rest is most definitely fudge. So today, we're taking a bite out of our childhood memories by creating a quick and easy caramel fudge recipe that will certainly satisfy your sweet tooth. Give me more, chef.
Oh, well, I mean, it is one of those things that is, you know, sickly sweet, but you know, you just absolutely love it. And once you've had one bite, you just want some more, and it just keeps on going. But yeah, I think we have lots of wonderful memories, certainly as kids, you know, that little packet, like, I'm going to eat the whole packet, and you don't even get halfway, and then it's like, oh my goodness.
What was I thinking?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, fudge is one of those things that's so simple, quick, and easy in terms of ingredients. So I've got some sugar, condensed milk. I mean, usually this actually should, you know, just go and sit in front of the TV and have a spoon and just eat that on itself.
Yeah, talk about childhood memory.
Absolutely, exactly. And then some golden syrup as well. So those are the ingredients there. And then I believe you need to help me out as well.
Yes, it does need, I know that with fudge, it does need some sort of a fat component to that. And we're going to be using our rama here because it adds that richness to it. It just, you know, enriches the actual fudge itself. So I'm going to add some spoonfuls in there. If you want the exact quantity, go into afternoonexpress.co.za. But yeah, we start off with the fat content and then we add all the other ingredients. And as we were talking, Palas, about those fond memories, you remind me of when we were back in school and we constantly either had to remind my mom the night before that, Mommy, there's a bake sale tomorrow. And that time shops are closed and you're thinking to yourself, how am I gonna, because you have to.
How am I gonna pull it off?
How am I gonna pull it off? And I think fudge is the simplest thing to think of. You could just, like you've got all these ingredients at home.
Yeah.
Or some of us here would have to try and bake and no comment with the things that I made. My mom used to call them rocks of ages.
Rocks of ages. Oh, Jimmy. Well, you know, as long as you've come a long way and you've learned, I think it's half the fun of it, though. That's childhood memories.
Yeah.
We've already got some pre-made fudge here that we made a little earlier, and we're just going to go ahead and decorate whilst we reminisce. I want to use some of the syrup just to add that, like, stickiness, I suppose, to my fudge. I'm going to go in with my finger because this is my fudge piece anyway.
I'm
telling you. But, Chef, you know, what I like about fudge is that it's that indulgent, decadent treat that anyone can enjoy at home. But at the end of the day, it's also a good courier for some amazing flavors. Growing up, I only used to enjoy caramel fudge. But how else can we mix-match our fudge? Could I add chili?
Absolutely. Well, there's lots of flavors that you can add into here. So what we're first going to do now is we're actually going to dissolve the sugar. It's very important to dissolve that sugar. And then in essence, and to cut a very long chemical process that's all happening in here, we actually really want to recrystallize the actual sugar content, which starts to give us the structure and that sort of, you know, that granular texture that you get, but with the emulsification of the fat and the condensed milk and the golden syrup. So what we've got here is we're going to bring this up to a boil now. It's going to take about 12 to 14 minutes until you get that agitated state again before we then pour it into here. But yes, you can start popping a little bit of chili in here, warm spices, cinnamon, nutmeg. You could, you know, pop into here salt.
Oh,
yeah,
like a salted caramel.
You could do like in essence, that's exactly what we're doing. We're caramelizing everything here. So imagine putting the salt into that, or little sea salt flakes on the top. So when we actually pour it into here, you have the opportunity to put things on top so everything all sticks in properly. I mean, one of my memories of fudge is having Turkish Delight pockets tucked in, which are beautiful. So you get this real sort of saltiness, and then you get this sort of real sort of jelly kind of sort of texture coming through, this real perfume of that rose flavor coming through. What do you have, Jimmy? What do you sort of remember? Did I take you back?
You just took me back, because whenever I think of stuff like Turkish Delight and the fact that you could actually infuse it into anything, you know? My mom used to love buying me stuff like that, and even though she knew that I had a sweet tooth, one of the few things that took a while for me to get into was stuff like Turkish Delight and even fudge. At first it was kind of like I didn't understand it, and then I started having enough of it, and I was like, now I get it, you know? But, you know, Bali, we keep talking about how I have a sweet tooth and you don't, but I think fudge is probably one of the few things that you can tolerate, but in small quantities.
Small quantities. I can legitimately, and I'm not lying to you, growing up, I used to buy a block of fudge during first break. That would easily last me the entire week. Don't judge, but a block of fudge would easily last me. Why am I eating so much? I used to believe that small treats of indulgence is what it's all about. But I had this cousin, shout out to you, Onke, she's my cousin's sister. She used to always, I would never find that fudge at the end of the week because she was the fudge queen. She would whip up her own fudge in 15 minutes, honey, let me tell you something. And she used to enjoy it. And it really does. I mean, whipping it up like this definitely reminds me of her, reminds me of all of those school bake sales that we used to enjoy. And I love the fact that we can play with flavor, as Chart has said.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think the beauty of something like this. You've got a solid foundation to work from. You know it's going to be sweet. You know it's going to have that sort of granular texture coming through. But then you can just have pops of colour, pops of flavour. You know, it's summer, all those sort of, you know, memories that you want to do. You know, or you could play a few little pranks and things, you know. Popping candy as well also nestles. So imagine now that, you know, you get that little bite and it just sort of goes off. I mean, you know, it's a memory. It's a childhood memory we all have ultimately.
Somehow I feel like our children, when they grow up, their childhood memories with food will be completely different if we're whipping it up the same way Chart does. Now, don't forget, Rama is giving away another grocery voucher to the value of 800 Rand. To stand a chance of winning this week's competition, tell us what your favorite sweet treat is on the Afternoon Express Show Facebook or Twitter pages using that hashtag Rama Taste the Love. This week's competition closes at midday on Monday, the 15th of November. And remember, every person that has entered and continues to enter these weekly competitions with Rama will go into the final draw for an amazing grand prize of a 5,000 Rand travel voucher so that you can reunite with your loved ones wherever they are in South Africa. T's and C's do apply for both of these giveaways and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za.
Wherever food is made with love, you'll find Rama. Taste the love.
Mzansi, now is the time to open your hearts as we're once again calling on you to show your generosity by gifting your words this festive season with Cadbury Dairy Milk. In gifting your words, you'll be helping co-author children's festive stories written in local languages that will reflect the wonder of a truly South African festive celebration, describing our cultures, food and sunshine. To inspire you to start translating, we're joined by child author Rilebogile Mutema, who recently published a festive-themed story for the initiative. She'll be sharing with us the greatest gift of all, the gift of reading.
I'm going to be reading a part of my story where Tati and Smarty went to the scary gym. Tati and Smarty made their way to the scary gym at a snail's pace. Their bellies were dragging on the surface, and they were completely out of breath upon arrival at the gym. The gym door swung open and met the two foodies with its hands stretched out in a warm and healthy welcome. As Tati and Smarty slithered inside the gym, they could hear the floors creak from underneath their bellies. Without wasting any time, the old gym equipment came to life and began their attack on Tati and Smarty. "Somebody, help us! We're under attack!" yelled Tati while trying to slink away from the equipment. No one came to their rescue.
Wow, thank you so much, Rilebogile. Gift your words this festive season and help co-author a festive-themed story to be added to the Cadbury Dairy Milk in your own words library, so all children can enjoy wondrous stories of the most wonderful season. Visit www.cadbury.co.za and follow at Cadbury Dairy Milk SA on Facebook or at Cadbury_SA on Twitter and Instagram to find out more and start translating your words today. Let's wrap up this incredible show where we have whipped up nothing but the best in under 15 minutes. Dumi, give us a quick recap, girl.
I'm recapping as I'm dishing up because the girl is hungry, okay? So we started off with our garden salad. Everything salad. I'm loving the fact that you call it that. Our everything salad, almost like a platter, so you can choose whatever ingredients you want to use there. We went over to our Mediterranean couscous salad with all those fresh flavors. We then went into our pesto pasta pasta, courtesy of Chef Chart. And then from there, we took it on a sweet note with our caramel fudge and our Spitzroker. And I am dying to try everything on this menu today.
Very exciting. I mean, not only am I excited to try exactly what Chef picked up. Chef, this is from your cookbook, honey.
This is indeed, absolutely.
So you definitely did promise a big one. So it leads us to our social media question. I want to find out from you, if you could fill in the blank, it's not summer until I've eaten...
Deciduous fruit. So peaches, nectarines, plums. That's it for me.
It's called deciduous fruit. Aye. The masterclass continues. Bandals, English bandals. And for yourself, Tommy?
It has to be watermelon. Like, if there's no watermelon on your table in summer, what are you doing?
Is it even summer yet?
Is it even summer?
It's so funny that we all have the same kind of idea. Mine is mango. It is not, we're all on that fruit tip.
Yeah.
It is not summer without mango. So thank you so much, Chef, for coming through with your energy and the food.
Well, absolute pleasure. Lovely to cook with you. You can keep your mangoes because I think it's the worst fruit ever. It's not summer for me. I'm all about plums and peaches.
You're
How's that for a bombshell?
cancelled. Done.
It's over for you.
I knew I couldn't trust him. Red flag, red flag. Yumi, thank you so much for coming through yet again, Siswam.
Only a pleasure, babe.
Now join us again on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. as Chef Aya shows us more meals that can be put together in a quarter of an hour. But until then, Mzansi City, good night, stay safe and happy eating. Nothing beats being free. For breakfast with the team, family brunches, or having the crowd around for life as it used to be. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.